Leslie Smith with McCormick LA Public Relations, and welcome to episode 4 of my vlog. I am here with superstar photographer CieloRoth with CieloRoth Photography. If you live in the Bixby Knolls area, you may have seen her photos in the Bixby Knolls Neighbor. They're fantastic. She does the featured family. And with that, I'll let you introduce yourself, Cielo.
Hello, everybody. I'm CieloRoth, and I own CieloRoth Photography. I operate out of Long Beach, Southern California. I am a boutique photographer, and I specialize in families and children, but I also love to do events and headshots.
Very good. Thank you for being here today.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
Great. So the old adage is a picture is worth 1,000 words. So does that still hold true? Because I think that adage is 1,000 years old.
I think so too. You know what? It does in a way, but I really think words and photos or pictures go together very well. So I think that it enhances it, and photography enhances words. But it's definitely true. It does speak to you. It tells a story, but I think they go hand in hand. So,
well, that's reassuring for me because as a public relations consultant, I send out lots of press releases for lots of different topics,
right?
From nonprofits to for-profits. And most of the time, the press release begs for a photo. Let's demonstrate this somehow. It needs something to accompany. But most of my companies and nonprofits don't have a photo on hand. And how do you recommend they have sort of, I don't know, what do you recommend so that they have photos available for certain things?
I definitely think they should have a few shoots a year. Whenever they have an event, they definitely want to have a photographer there because, like you said, the press release is showing an event is coming up. You want to have maybe a last year's event available. And yeah, you definitely want to show the company what's going on, maybe even feature the owner or employees, that kind of thing. So
sure. Yes. And that's interesting. So the past photos, that's typically what I'll use for an event. And this year it's been very hard because they haven't had the event in a few years.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So some of it's not too dated, but a little dated.
Right.
Yes. Very good. So let's talk about headshots. So that's the other part of companies, and we're doing, their websites or something else. They need headshots, even their profile on LinkedIn.
Yeah, like very important.
People are on there, and I'm like, that's like a glamour shot,
right?
Is that best representing your company?
Right.
And I'm like, I don't know. And then people will use old headshots,
right?
So
or
what's your
too with
weird
stuff in the backgrounds and
right? So what's your recommendation about getting headshots taken? How often should you do that?
Definitely want to take them every 2 years, or if you have a drastic image change. So if your hair changes, like mine does often, or my glasses once a year. If you have a drastic change, you definitely want to take a new one. So you want to be up to date for sure. So I recommend every 2 years or every year.
That makes sense. And the glasses, that's key too. Yeah, realtors are famous for having their pictures on their cards, right? And part of it's a safety issue. If they're coming into your homes to show your house to strangers, you want to know that it's the person who was on the card.
Absolutely.
And realtors, get your stuff updated.
Yes.
It needs to be up to date, not your high school photo. And then along those lines, so back in the day, it used to be, and, there was way more printed stuff, but the digital, venues are just as important, meaning the website and LinkedIn, like we talked about. Yes. Companies used to pay for all of their people to get their headshots, so everything looked uniform. What do you think about that? Does that still happen?
Well, it rarely happens now. I think people companies are expecting people to already have them, especially like salespeople. But I think it is important to have it and definitely look uniform. I've shot a few companies who have hired me for that specific reason, to take the company's photos to update their website. I think it's important. Definitely, you want to look professional. You want to be uniform. You want to, be you want to be consistent. So yeah, I think it's really important. I'm actually offering headshot parties.
Oh.
So what I do is offer this either to companies or to just individuals who need headshots. They book me for a certain amount of time, and we have a fun time, and snacks and stuff like that. And it's a really fun time. And companies can hire me to come into their company, or we can do it offsite somewhere, especially like if a group of friends want to get together and do it. It's pretty fun.
That's very smart.
Yeah.
I can see that even working for like chamber groups.
Definitely.
Like the Women's Business Council could do a headshot night.
Yes.
That would be so fun.
Wouldn't it be fun? Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
That's a really fun idea. I had a client, they had, and this is a LinkedIn tip. They had on there, when somebody would vacate a position, the position would still stay under their, listing. There wouldn't be a photo there if somebody vacated or something. So they'd have this little square. I'm like, okay, take that down. And I don't know if, open positions required that it stay there as a slot. But I had suggested to this business, I'm like, you need a headshot party. You need to pay for these headshots for everybody because they're very inconsistent. And what would you say to this objection? Their objection was, we don't want to help people get another job.
Interesting.
Yes. And I said, but and I don't think they understood the power of LinkedIn.
Right.
And so I'm like, you're talking to other executives that you want to sell your products to. Yeah. And so they're looking at your company culture.
Definitely. Company culture is huge. It is absolutely huge and essential for companies to have a good culture. And by doing that and offering that, I think that is just a unifying activity, and it's important to have that great culture. But yeah, I mean, what did you end up telling them?
Well, I said it, it not only told their, conveyed their culture, it also expressed their brand.
Yes.
And their exit plan is actually to someday sell the company. I'm like, they want to buy something that's wrapped pretty and neat and new. And the first stop is going to be LinkedIn.
Absolutely.
They referred me to the HR department. I'm like, okay, that's a no from you, because you tell the HR department to line it up. Right. Right. So moving on.
Yeah.
There's only so many times. Okay. So now you had mentioned talking, having, event photographer at certain things so that you have those photos available, either, just having a photographer at an event or taking some shoots on a regular basis. So, and I think people understand if they have a big event, they need photographer.
Absolutely.
But what about all the little things? Is that feasible for them to, expect to hire a photographer for certain things?
Definitely. There's a lot of small businesses who celebrate an anniversary or a grand opening. Those are important. You want to put out a press release. So you want to have photography, and you want to budget for that. So I've actually shot for a lot of businesses that have had, good size events, or even a smaller event. Company parties are great for like a photo booth. It's
sure,
but very important to have a budget for photography. It's definitely important, because you want to update your website, you want to update your social media. There's tons of applications for photography for small businesses. So definitely plan for that and put it in your budget.
And then along those lines, I've worked with people who, certain editors were saying, they're like, I don't want the big check presentation.
Right.
I want the action shots.
Right.
So how do you have any tips for getting those good action shots without, with still telling the story?
Absolutely. Oh yes, actually, that I love doing that. Just being a fly on the wall and at the event.
Okay.
I have a long lens, and I just kind of stay out of the way. I mean, I'm engaging, but I also just stay back and capture natural moments, and it's so much fun. I mean, I love it, and I think the pictures and the portraits turn out amazing because I am kind of step back, but then I also engage as well because it's fun, and I love it. Who doesn't love an event? And then you get those pose shots too, but which are important, just as important. But yeah, I really enjoy just stepping back and capturing like a photojournalistic type of thing or lifestyle.
Very cool. So you must have a great eye. Because I've talked to people like, no, I can't do weddings. It's you miss a moment and it's done.
Yeah.
And the bride wanted that moment kind of thing. But it sounds like you get some pretty great images just by hanging back, like you
Definitely.
said, and just keeping an eye on something. So what helped you train your eye in that way?
Oh gosh.
I know.
Well, I actually started out in the dark room. I'm going to age myself, but I shot film photography for years, and you can't just shoot. It's very like specific, and you only have your 12 shots or your 24 shots or your 36 shots on film. And I actually I studied art and photography during college, and it's my skills definitely evolved for sure, but just being present and engaging and really just looking around for those special moments. That's how I capture things. It's funny because my husband always was like, were you doing were you working? I don't know. And then he sees my images, he's like, oh my gosh, yeah, that's great. Because I'm either talking a lot or I'm kind of just kicking back and, taking it all in. So
that's great. That's great. And I have seen headshots on different websites where they're trying to be really creative.
Oh yeah.
And the headshots are fun. Some of them you're like, oh, you went too far.
Definitely. You can get pretty creative with it, but I tend to be more traditional. So yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah. Mike, how often is that person going to use their shot with a pair of feet? Very good. Okay. Well, anything else to add before we close this out?
No, just, I'm in the Long Beach area. So if you are looking for a photographer, I'm your gal. Leslie, you are truly amazing. I am very happy to know you. I think you are pretty gosh darn brilliant marketing person. And I've read your book, and I really enjoy working with you and
thank you so much, Cielo. So we met through Downtown Long Beach Associates class. They hired me to do a class, and Cielo was my star student far and away.
I would always be on, and I'd be like smiling and going, hi.
Right? So excited to be there.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm so glad that we got to connect. I know your name. I know your name somehow. And then finally she mentioned the Bixby Knolls neighbor.
Bixby Knolls, yeah. I also shoot for Long Beach Living magazine.
Okay, good.
So,
good. Yeah. I wasn't sure. I know that.
So much fun.
Very good. And those are great magazines.
They are. They really
by Mary Luce.
Yes.
Very good. So check them out. They're
definitely
great. So if you're trying to reach families in certain areas of Long Beach, it's a great place to advertise. Definitely. And you will notice in the advertisements, there's Cielo's advertisement is in there. And it's a great sampling of what she can do to shoot your family and capture those special moments in your own home. Very good. Definitely. As well as capture your corporate side. So very good. Well, I'm so glad that we got to talk. And we'll talk again soon.
Definitely.
And they should visit your website.
Yes. It's CieloRothPhoto.com.